Hey, did you know that you can create a better relationship with your guests on Airbnb and VRBO without actually having to manually message them? In fact, you can do that with an amazing tool called TouchStay. And we have Tyann Marcink here with TouchStay with us today on the Fearless Investor Podcast. Hey, welcome in everyone. Excited to have Tyann Marcink here. And this is a really fun tool that we are starting to use in our business. And it's also something that we're proud to be a partner with Tyann in TouchStay and offering an amazing discount in our six-figure formula membership to this. But the key here is guidebooks made easy, right? And it's so difficult. We go on Canva or we go into, even just a Word document. We try to start making a guidebook and we think to ourselves, man, we got to print this out. We got to laminate it and then it's going to get damaged. We got to reprint it. And then we start to say, well, screw that. We're just going to go on Canva and make a digital version, but how do we get it to our guests? And especially if we have multiple properties, that seems like a lot of work. Well, with TouchStay, it's easy, it's automated, and it can get you not only more bookings, but also can get you better reviews as well if you use it the right way. And Tyann is going to show us exactly how to do that right now here on the Fearless Investor Podcast. Hey guys, welcome in. We're here with Tyann Marcink of TouchStay. And Tyann, I am super excited because TouchStay is such a powerful tool, but the reason that's me a powerful tool, first of all, is what I want to get to today. And before we do, I just got to ask you, because not only do you guys have a great tool, but you're also a short-term rental operator yourself. So let's hear it. What's your craziest, what's your wildest, what's your most interesting short-term rental Airbnb story?
Oh, okay. So back in 2018, I bought a bank where you can legally launder in the Ozarks.
Wait, what?
Are you? Hey, you told me short, so one sentence, right?
Oh gosh, that's Ozarks. What's the character's name for that? I'm trying to think.
I don't even remember their names.
It's Jason Bateman. That's all I know.
Yes. Yeah. So I live in the Ozarks. I have two brands of properties. One is down at Table Rock Lake, Branson, Missouri. Those are my really large homes where we focus on 3 to 4 generation families. And then Missouri Wine Country is the northern edge of the Ozarks, and we have historical properties there. So in 2018, I bought a 1902 bank building with 2 original vaults, and I had to get a 30-inch drill bit to go through the vault walls because the vault walls were 27 inches thick. And one of the vaults is where I put the laundry room.
The laundry room. I get it.
So we tell guests you can bank on a good time.
Oh my gosh. There's so many dad jokes in there. We're getting this off to the best start possible, aren't we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The one I don't post in the house is, in the bathroom, I would love to put deposits only, but I haven't done that yet.
I so want to take this conversation a whole separate way now, but by the way, Tashiana just commented. She said, Marty and Wendy. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
that's them.
That is who we're looking for. Okay. So Tyann, I'm excited here. We're live here in our six-figure formula community. So we're going to do this podcast here now. A lot of people who are listening in the public, they're like, what is that? You guys can jump in as well, fearlesskyle.com/6FF. And what's going to be fun at the end is we're going to have a lot of questions from our exclusive 6FF community. But right now, I want the audience out there with the Fearless Investor community to get to know you. So tell me a little bit about your background. What brought you into short-term rentals and then eventually into this awesome product with TouchStay?
So I started way back in 2007, following after my aunt and uncle bought the largest vacation rental in the Branson, Missouri area at 4 bedrooms and 2 baths, the largest available. They moved all their personal furniture from home into this property and realized, oh my gosh, this is doing great. My parents saw it and said, oh, this is doing really great. Let's start selling our commercial buildings. So they bought the next year 2 5-bedroom houses. Well, my aunt and uncle said, oh my gosh, you do that? Well, we're going to raise you. We're going to build an 8-bedroom house. And my parents said, okay, fine. Let's see, what did they do? They said, we're going to build a 6-bedroom and a 7-bedroom this year. And that's the year I built a 4-bedroom. So this kind of continued for a couple years. Mom and dad ended up with 8 houses. My aunt and uncle ended up with several houses. I built one, then 2 years later built a 5-bedroom. And fast forward to now, my aunt runs a property management company. My parents have sold all theirs and traded what we call new. So they built 5 new houses between 7 and 10 bedrooms. Um, 3 of my siblings out of my 5, so I'm the oldest of 6. They are also in the game, and we're all our individual companies. We're all competitors. Mom and I swipe floor plans from each other. So I own 2 large homes in Branson at Table Rock Lake, a 6 and a 10. I manage 4 others. We're building another 2, and my clients are building another 4. So we're going to double next year.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then Missouri Wine Country, I own 2 properties and manage another 6 or so. And those are historical properties. And the other thing is people ask me, Missouri Wine Country, why did you just say there's Missouri Wine Country? I don't get it. And I can see you nodding, Kyle. Well, the thing is Missouri Wine Country, specifically Augusta Valley, was the very first dedicated wine country in the United States. Napa Valley was second.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, okay, there was a lot of numbers there. So how many in total do you have?
So I personally own 4 houses and
Okay.
2 lots that are being built on.
Okay, got it. And so you're just doing yours. You don't have any managing, no arbitrage. Is that right?
I manage also.
You do. Okay. How many
Yeah,
are you
yep.
managing?
So managing in Branson 4, and my clients are building 4. So we'll have 8 by next summer,
There you
managing there. And then we manage another, what did I say, 6 or so in wine country.
go. Okay.
And we're growing there too.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. What's unique about that 7 and 10 bedroom houses and the family feud there of going back and forth and let me outdo you, let me outdo you. I love though that it was a one up on every single time you were just adding more bedrooms. How much were you a part of that? Were you kind of just watching from afar as you were getting started?
It was me, it was kind of far. I mean, it's the same neighborhood. I mean, like
Nice.
mom and dad and we had houses right across the street from each other. So I could go to their house for a weekend and sit and watch my guest and be like, close the door. You're letting flies in my house. The AC's on. Close the door, please. But you don't do that. You just don't even let them know you're sitting there across the street. But that was also at the time where it was not my main thing. At that time in my life, I was raising 3 children and I was the single host with a property or 2, and everything is managed remotely. So it wasn't until 2017 when I got the long-term rentals in the divorce and then started to turn them into short-term rentals is when I started to grow my management company. And it took off at that point because that's a whole nother story. I'm turning long-term rentals into short-term rentals, especially when you find out that the tenants are dealing drugs and you don't want to have a drug house.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I just
Yeah.
shared a story the other week with Chris Prefontaine from the Smart Real Estate Coach. We had a long-term tenant who was a drug addict, didn't become a drug addict until, at least to our knowledge, until after we rented it out to them. And then they ended up just burning the house down because they said, if I can't live here, no one should be able to live here. Yeah.
No.
And by the way, that person's not in jail. So there you go. That's
Wow,
California.
yeah, no, my tenant, after I kicked her out, said, "Can I use you for a referral?"
Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
like, girl,
Read the room.
you're welcome to put my name down, but just so you know, I'm telling the truth. And she's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh
And guess who
gosh.
called a month later?
Someone,
The next landlord.
yeah, the next landlord. Yeah, there you go. How funny.
Yep.
Okay, so Tyann, you've got this and what sounds like growing business, which is really impressive, but you're also working with TouchStay as well. What is TouchStay? Tell us what that is first.
So TouchStay is a digital guidebook, but it's also a very unique communication method. So think of it as a comprehensive communication tool, and it answers your guest questions before they even ask them. Now, I say a tool because you have to use the tool.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's not going to work. So it's not a magic thing where you just throw your information in and say, hey, here's my digital guidebook. Your guests aren't going to look at that. You have to use the tool in a way that is best for your guest. So for me personally, that means sending it several times between booking and arrival. It means several touch points. If anybody's heard me speak at conferences or on their podcast, I'll talk about my magic fairy dust and how many times I actually touch the guest between booking and arrival, which is the magic number of 20 for me right now. So 20 times.
Wow.
And that's touches, that's not emails. So there's different ways to communicate with people. And the big thing is to communicate in different ways, because all of us, yeah, we can hear things, but that doesn't mean we listen. That doesn't mean we process them. So Touch Day is a way to help communicate to your guest in different ways and help them to process it. So the digital guidebook is your custom branded progressive web app. So you just send a link to your guests. There's nothing to download. You send the link, they can access by QR code. You can put in photos, you can put in videos, you can hyperlink things. You can customize it any which way you want with content. And it's just incredible. So yeah, in short, it's amazing.
That's awesome. So I want to speak to the person right now that's like, all right, I've got a few properties and I like my physical guidebook in my house. I don't want to go digital, or maybe even those that say, hey, what's the point of a guidebook when I can just message stuff over to guests? Sell me on the digital guidebook, not TouchStay specifically, but why do I need a digital guidebook in my business?
Absolutely. So the printed one, when does that get to your guest? Not till they arrive.
Yep.
So how are you getting information beforehand? Are you sending them a giant email that is 10 pages long, or a PDF that they have to search through and their eyes glaze over because they don't know where the door code is because you've hidden it down on page 3 and Wi-Fi code might be page 6 and they're not sure? So then you're getting all these questions like, okay, what's my door code? How do I get in? Or they park in the wrong spot? All of that stuff that happens before arrival. So one, a very well organized digital guidebook, digital way. So whether that's you create something in Canva or you step your game up with Touch Day, getting that over to your guests before they arrive and several different ways in a, again, well organized manner will help reduce those questions and reduce guest management. So that saves you time. So that time you can then take where you're wanting to go. So your family, more travel, increase your business, that all gives you back time. Now, you can also print it if you're one of those people that says, hey, my guests have to have something in hand. That's no problem. You can do that, but just remember the coffee stains, the booger wipes,
Right.
all of that happens. So you're going to have to reprint, and of course, environmentally friendly type thing. So you do run into that. But then what if you made a spelling error or grammar mistake or a
Yeah.
restaurant closes?
Reprint the whole thing.
You gotta reprint the whole thing, or you gotta redo your PDF. And so when you use Touch Day, especially once you make an update, it's updated across the board to anybody who's accessing it. There is no sending out a new PDF. There is no reprinting unless you want to. So for like my guests, I don't even print anything anymore. I just have on my refrigerator, it's a laminated sheet with the QR code to the guidebook. And that also sits right next to the safety information. So our contact information, 911, sheriff, the address the guests are at. So it's all right there front and center. And then also the checkout instructions too. So that it's there where everybody goes to, right? Eye level on the fridge.
So the first time I ever saw Touch Today, I actually was staying at an Airbnb. I had never heard of you guys. And this is a great lesson too. When anytime you travel, guys, like, sure, if your wife loves going to a hotel versus an Airbnb, like sometimes you're not able to do the things that you want to do, but at some point you've got to look at your competition too. And the easiest way to look at your competition is just stay at an Airbnb, stay at a short-term rental. And so I went to the short-term rental and they had exactly what you said. They had the QR code of the guidebook. And I was thinking to myself, I'm going to scan this QR code and it's going to take me to a Canva or a PDF, like you said. And it was this comprehensive Touch Stay guidebook. And I messaged the guest or the host right away. I said, I have never heard of this. Where did you get this? And how much was it? And they told me, and I was like, oh my gosh, we need to be using these. And to be completely honest, right, I have really been bad about bringing Touch Stay into our business, but I love, especially as we just look at these the demos that you've sent over to me, I'm like, we need to get on this ASAP. And so I was so impressed with the professionalism and the way in which it just looked like, hey, if I have a question, I can touch one of these 8 different categories and boom, I can jump right into my answer without having to reach out to the host and ask all these questions. So what's the biggest thing that you feel like the touch stay, specifically guidebooks, are giving? Is it the professionalism? Is it the chance of answering questions before the guest even has to ask them? Is it the additional places in the community so that people can get even more information? Like, what do you think is the biggest advantage of something like a touch stay for someone's business?
Ooh, can I just say all of the above?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because you are communicating in a professional manner, so that ups the game. And when you operate and communicate in a professional manner, you can command a better price. So therefore, you're going to increase your revenue. We have users who say, our guests look at all the information we've given them because we've organized and laid it out, and they realize, oh, there's more to do. They're adding nights to their stay as well. So it's not just a return on experience, you're getting that return on investment as well. And remember, it's a tool, so you have to use it in the best way for you. And then you can also, it helps you with direct bookings as well. So even though that first booking might have come from an OTA like Airbnb or Vrbo or booking.com, then you can communicate with your guests that you're the one communicating with them. You're using your brand voice, you're pushing your brand so that they know they're with you. They're not with Airbnb, they're
Mm,
with you. And
that's
then they
good.
can come and book direct the next time. So when you create a guidebook with Touch Stay, we give you a template. And part of that template is a book direct section. There's a welcome section. There's a check-in info section. There is a structure already laid out with professionally written content. So you're not having to go through and guess, well, what should I have in here? How am I going to do this? So we help you out with that. We help you out with QR code templates. We help you out with messaging templates. We want to live in that communication space to increase the guest experience for you.
That's awesome. You said something there that's got me thinking, and you said, someone sees the professionalism of this and they are encouraged to go and extend their stay. Um, what what is it that you think in regards to a guest experience that this could have? Maybe not the direct, the direct results to me sound like, hey, it's going to give your guests the information they need. It's going to tell them about the city. It's going to tell them about check-in, right? That's the direct stuff. The indirect stuff, maybe potentially leading to another booking. What about better reviews, better communication
Mhm.
reviews? Like, what are some of those things that you feel like TouchStay has some indirect results that can positively impact people's business?
Yes, reviews is a huge one because you're communicating and giving the guests the answers before they ask them the answers to those questions. So we have a secret Facebook group, and I'm sure Kyle can share that with you all. And in this group, people are sharing the reviews they get from their guests, and it's over and over again that we had an amazing experience. Your communication was incredible. Some of them have even said, hey, we're ready to leave you a 5-star review, and we have not even stepped foot in your property.
Mm,
And what that says is because these hosts and property managers are taking care of their guests before they arrive, they've paid attention to the details, and the guests feel like they're being prepared for. They
mm.
don't feel like, oh, that we're an inconvenience there. No, you're a guest and you're being expected. And it's laying all of that out. And it's just in a very professional manner, a very hospitable manner. And the guests they want to have a great time. They want to have a great experience. But when we lack communication as hosts and managers, it's not good. So I was at the Book Direct show in Miami, and I gave a presentation there about the anagnorisis of direct bookings for guests. And anagnorisis is a Greek word referring to Greek tragedy. It's the moment of critical discovery. So finding that moment of critical discovery, your guests that they can book direct with you. And
Yeah.
part of that is building your brand and brand voice. And I asked Key Data Dashboard for some information about, okay, when are people booking an arrival? What's the average booking window? Well, when they sent it to me, my gut instincts were correct in this big space between booking and arrival. So when you've got a smaller place, you're looking at in the US, 3 months average booking window.
Wow.
When you are looking at 6+ bedrooms, a 5 month average booking window. So, what are you doing within those 5 months? Are you being silent or are you contacting your guest, not asking them questions, but pushing information at the right time?
Mm.
So, for instance, are you sending them an email with travel insurance information soon after they book to remind them, hey, travel insurance is important and you should be getting it? Here's some information. Are you sending directions when they're expecting it, whether that's 14 days or 30 days? Are you sending door code information right before they expect it? So, having those communications when most people are silent is key. When you go on Facebook groups, there was a guest that posted in a host group and they said, hey, we have booked a large 7 bedroom lake house for Thanksgiving 10 days ago, and I haven't heard a word from my guest. I spent a lot of money. What's going on here? Well, the host answers that came in said, oh, don't worry about it. They'll get to you. Expect your information 24 hours before arrival. Well, there's a problem there because the guest is expecting to hear from us, the host and property managers, but us, the host and property managers, are like, we're not going to talk to them. So these expectations are not aligned.
Mm.
So what happens when you have unmatched expectations? That is the death of friendships,
Mm.
businesses, marriages, movies, and 5-star reviews. You've got to match or exceed expectations, especially in the communications and the details.
Match or exceed expectations, and easiest way to do that is communication. And I do love that because I think we're all probably guilty of that. I don't think I've met anyone who's quite as proactive in communication as you, and it seems to be really paying off in your business. But a lot of us just sit there and say, oh, the guest doesn't show up till a week from now, and so 24 hours before they're going to get all their check-in instructions, and we won't have to worry about them until then. But like you said, that's the perfect opportunity to start developing a relationship with your guests. And what's the number one reason that someone's going to want to come back to your house? The experience for sure, but also the relationship with the host. One of the reasons that we like going and staying at a place again is because we know we're going to be taken care of. A lot of people stay at our places, no matter if it's, you know, over 5 miles away, because they know they're going to get the same experience because it's the same host, right? And
Yep,
if you can create
exactly.
that relationship before, that makes a lot of sense. So, you know, uh, let's say, for example, though, someone doesn't book 3 or 4 or 5 months out. Let's say they book 3 days out, right? And so, what does that communicate? Because I feel like I don't know if there may be a shift in your business or a lot of people's business, but I do feel like people are booking travel a little later these days. They're a little bit more last minute. So, 3 to 7 days out, what does communication look like from you during that window?
It's going to be very similar. We have our triggers set to where if it misses a time, then it doesn't go. So we have
Mm.
some things that go when someone books far in advance. And then closer to, they don't get as many touches, they don't get as much communication. And we also pay attention to the types of communications that are sent according to arrival. So they're on when they book, they get an email and they get a email confirmation. Then they get a text message with their link to the Touch Stay digital guidebook. 3 days before, they get the top 3 things they need for arrival and a text saying, hey, there's an email in your inbox that has important information.
Nice.
So think about the type of communications your specific guest is going to need and when. And then after on a day of arrival, we switch to all text messaging. We don't expect people to be answering or even looking at their emails during a vacation stay.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, sometimes a business stay they might, but text messages when it's, keep it to the important stuff and then use the communication tools that your guests are using.
What software are you using to automate those text messages?
Touch Day.
Really? That's in Touch Day,
Yep.
huh? Oh
That's
my
in
God.
Touch
I
Day.
I wasn't leading you into that answer, by the way. I really was genuinely curious. Okay, so
Yep.
Touch Day is gonna automate text, and I'm assuming email as well?
Yep, we
That's
do both.
awesome.
So we just rolled
Wow.
that out this summer, and it's called Memo. And you can automate that triggers, and you can drop in the custom fields as well. So you put in the guest name, you can put in the property name, you can deep link to sections in your guidebook. So let's say the night of arrival, you want to schedule a text going out to the guest saying, "Hey, don't forget the hot tub has a lock on it. Here's the link to the video on how to open the hot tub."
That's awesome. Okay. So guys, if you are like already sold on Touch Day, right? There's two things you can do. There's two ways you can get into it. You can just go ahead, and if you're watching on the YouTube video right now, or listening on the podcast, then you can just go to the show notes or the description below, click on it, get started. If you're already in the six-figure formula or want to be in the six-figure formula, you're going to get a 20% discount with Touch Day, which is amazing. And I got to thank Tyann and the team over at Touch Day for exclusively giving this discount only to our six-figure formula members. One of 10 partners that we have, and Touch Day is one of our best discounts that we can offer. So all you got to do is, if you're in the six-figure formula, you know where to get it. But if you're not, you got to join and you got to get in there. Six-figure formula can be found at fearlesskyle.com/6FF. It's just $49 a month, and you can be saving 20% on just Touch Day alone, which is awesome. So, Tyann, what's the number one practice? Once I've got Touch Day, what's the number one practice that I should be using? It sounds like, you've got your communications and touches and all that, but like the number one thing that you feel like is either getting more bookings, getting better reviews, just getting really good results. What's that one thing I should be doing with it?
You should tell your guest why they need to open the link.
Mm,
Otherwise, they're never going to open it. You can't say, "Here's my digital guidebook, have fun." That doesn't work. You have to look at your frequently asked questions, and then you're going to say, "Hey guest, I am so excited that you are coming. I have put together the most important information for your stay. This link has your Wi-Fi code. It has your the best coffee shops nearby. It has where you can get your ski lift tickets at." Whatever your top 3 or 4 questions are that your guests are asking over and over again, that is where you're going to put into your message and say, "Go here for this information." And then your guests, when they see, "Oh yeah, it benefits me. There is a reason why I need to access it. It's not just for fun for the host to track me or anything like that. This is really good information specifically for my stay." And then they open it. And you can also, within our dashboard, you can track who opens it and who doesn't.
I love that. And it's so simple, right? Because our attention
Mhm.
span is so short today. So if you don't give me a reason why to click on this, I'm probably not going to click on it. And even if I do, I'm probably not going to stay on it long if I don't know what I'm looking for. So that is gold, Tyann. All right. So this has been, I just think it's such a no-brainer, right? Like if you're using any sort of guidebook and it's not at the level of Touch Day, you need to be using it. If you're not using one, I hope you got enough value today to know that you should be using it. Tyann, what have we not talked about, either about Touch Day or just any last tips that you have for our hosts out there to up their game?
So, giant warning, when you start with Touch Day, it's a little addictive. So you might find yourself, it's easy to set up. I mean, it's so easy to get into. And then people come back, they're like, "Tyann, I just spent the last 2 hours playing with it, and I've done this, and I've done that, and I want to do some more, and I got this idea." So what happens is people are sharing in our secret Facebook group, and you can get ideas from other people, but it's going to different verticals as well. So then you can do, if you're a property manager, you can make a sales guide. You can make an owner's manual for your owners. For your cleaning team, you can do a standard property appearance. We have an elevator company using us for the manuals on how to operate their elevators. We have schools using us. Events use us as an event guide. There is so many different verticals that Touch Day can go into that you will eventually find yourself saying, "Oh my gosh, I need a Touch Day guide for this. I need a Touch Day guide for that. Oh, a lead generation guide so I can collect more emails before a guest even gets here and books for me. Then I can market to them. Yes, please." So just a warning to be careful. It gets a little addicting.
Okay. Well, hey, that means it's good software. That's all that means. All right, Tyann, thank you so much for helping our audience today to conquer the world of guest experience in short-term rentals with TouchStay. We're going to move over to our Q&A section now with our exclusive Q&A section with our six-figure formula members. Thanks for joining us, Tyann. All right, so if you're ready to get started with TouchStay, we mentioned it multiple times throughout this, so I'm not going to hit you over the head with it on the six-figure formula, but you know that that's there for you. But if you are just ready to get started with TouchStay, down below in the show notes, if you're listening on the podcast or you're watching on the YouTube channel, just down in the description, and you can get started right now. And everything that TouchStay has to offer, you can start using right away. And it's so stinking affordable. One property, $100 for the year. That's less than $10 per month. And you're creating such an amazing experience for your guests. And by the way, if you keep on adding more properties, the price goes down and down and down and down. So it's a really awesome and affordable tool that you need to be using. So that's going to do it for us here on the Fearless Investor Podcast, where we're helping you to conquer the world of Airbnb. We'll see you next time.